You were mic'd up and everything, so I was just wondering if you could tell me, both of you, well, one at a time, what you do in this room, or what was this room?
Okay, so what it used to be our, I call it five-a-side football pitch, even though it looks far too big for five-a-side when you see it like this. It was basically our football pitch where we trained, where we played against each other in preparation for games that we would be playing on the Sunday usually against other club teams. It used to have a big cage around it, obviously to stop the balls going out. And it was used for other sports, and we might do some athletic competition, just little sprints up and down and that type of thing. And I think as far as I recall, as far as the girls went, they did some netball up here and maybe did some form of rounders, but it would obviously be not the full form of rounders. It was, if you want, bar playgrounds in the blocks of flats where we used to live, which used to have interesting groups of people hanging around quite often, was somewhere we could go and play football every single night of the week, usually after we'd done something else within the club. So we'd do it late at night before going down to the social downstairs. So we had very full evenings, come to think of it. And I like to think, and I do know one or two did make it as reasonable footballers, not including myself in that statement. This was then continued to when we have football weekends away in Skeet to prepare for the even bigger games. So this was it, and I just now look at it, particularly I think the roof must be a lot higher than even the net was. This is a very big room and a great space to be able to use now, I should imagine.
So yeah, now we are using the space for artwork with the young generation. What I have seen, the space has been used by the A-Team Arts Education, and that's where I was introduced to art and design, and this has been a great place to learn new pathways, new techniques in art and design. It's amazing how our football pitch turned into an art club. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the astounding thing is, my other half actually does curtain making and stuff, and has this enormous table that we've got at home. These spaces are just what you need, these large tables to develop, do print works on, etc., etc. And you don't usually find them available in most schools or places.
I mean, we do our embroidery and loom sessions here, as well as live drawing, whereas on the other side, we do our printmaking and heat press. So there are two activities in this space divided into two. The way our school, the brief is introduced is so restricted, and you're not allowed to explore more than that. Whereas if I didn't have the space, I wouldn't have known about the different techniques and pathway that existed and I wasn't aware of. And that's why I would call it, this space is the key to a new world.
And do you have any idea that it used to be a football pitch?
No, until today when he said it was football, I was like, hold on, wait, let me just ask someone how? Okay, okay, that makes sense. So yeah.
And I don't think we had the nice garden outside. It wasn't available for us, I don't think. It may have been available to somebody, but not to us. It was just a fire escape. And that was
Whereas for us, we have to do observation and drawings and things every time we come here.
Yeah.
So we kind of have that access, I do really like the warmth that this room gives us as well, the sun and everything. It really gives that coziness as well.
Yeah, I think it's probably an improvement, even though I think it's a bit of a shame that there's not an outdoor space that people can use in a physical way, if you want. It's probably a bit of a shame that haven't got that, in addition to having the arts and community stuff and theatre. I think just as something else you could do outside would probably be handy for other non-art people to come to as part of the community in reality.
I mean, I would say if we are introduced to it, like a space for sports, I would enjoy it, I would just go for it. But I haven't really felt for it because I wasn't really introduced or be into that environment so that I would feel, okay, yes, I do need that. But I would love to have one. Like volleyball, I used to play when I was in primary, and I haven't played then. So all of a sudden when you were talking about tennis, basketball and football, so I was like, oh my God, I once did that and I wish I had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame they can't build on the top of this, you wouldn't get the light coming through, but that ideally is what you want on top of maybe the other roof.
I mean, I would like to say that it's kind of nice that we still have that one thing in common, that we are given that space and opportunity, and that's the thing that's not changed yet. Even though the transition that has been, the way it's been giving us the opportunity. But it's good that we still have that warmth and that space still
Yeah,
alive.
no, it's true, because it would have been a real shame to have just left it to deteriorate on the top and just leave it as a roof and that's it. Whereas it's really being used now, which I think is very important. And I suppose, to be fair, there's probably not as many art spaces available for the majority of the population. For the more elite level, there probably is, but I think in general, it's very hard to get workspace to do any kind of art thing at the moment. So I think it is great use of space, really.